we have Icy Mike. In this corner, we have Corey Guns.
We've talked a lot about small guy versus big guy on this channel, and here lately it's come up quite a bit. And as I've said, there's no martial art for smaller guys to defeat bigger guys. It doesn't exist. There's not a martial art specifically designed for... This is beyond the scope of this video. In this video, we're going to break down a big part of Hard to Hurt lore, which is the fight at Streetbeefs with Corey Guns. Corey Guns had about 60 pounds on me. I'm going to explain how I was able to defeat him, some of the things I did right, some of the things I did wrong, and some of the things you might not know about. I'm Mike, and this is Jay, and this is Hard to Hurt, a channel dedicated to fitness and self-defense. Now, if you're not familiar with Streetbeefs, oh! Wow. And if you're not familiar with Streetbeefs, at the end of this video, I'm going to link the fight that I went there and fought Corey Guns.
Fighting out of Elkton, Virginia. Record of 5-1 in Satan's backyard. Be safe, fellas. Fight hard.
From the very beginning of that video, you can see that he's much bigger than me. I told Scarface that I wanted to fight someone over 200 pounds. And one of the things that was surprising is he was kicking and moving a lot. When the fight started, we came out, we touched gloves. He started moving around, and he had his left hand real low like that. He was holding his left hand down low like this, and I was thinking, okay, I'm about to hit him with the overhand right. I'd set out not to kick. I said I was not going to kick in the first round because I didn't want to get taken down. We'll see how that worked out. But eventually, we ended up locked up in the clinch. And what I wanted was to clinch with a guy that was much heavier than me because I'd been working exclusively on our dirty boxing and clinching. I was able to suck him down like this and hit him with uppercuts like this and like this. Now, he was also trying to punch me, but I was hiding my head and pulling him down tight. Now, he blocked quite a few knees. One really interesting shot, at one point, I was able to get this hand, and I was able to let go and give him a left hook to the body there.
It's a body shot.
Knees.
That, I would love to say I invented that move, or that was planned, or that's a real thing. If it is, comment below if you've seen that. But all it was he was hitting me, and I was trying to block. I caught this, pulled it, popped him, and then grabbed him again. We were here, and this guy, and Corey kind of felt like he knew how to wrestle a little bit. He reached down and grabbed that front leg, and he picked it up. Now, normally this wouldn't be a takedown. Normally you could like use your leg muscles and to beat someone's finger muscles. But this dude was like he was a mechanic, I think is what he did. But the ground was super slippery, and down we went. We landed in this half guard kind of thing here. Now I was jammed up pretty good by now, but I thought, because sometimes they're quick to stand up there, so I thought maybe I could like hold him down. But he was actually able to pin this hand down, right? And he reached, how did he have me? It was like he was trying to finish an Americana, but he had my head in the way. So then he let go with his right hand, but he kept my hand pinned here, and he started punching, right? These were big shots, but yeah, he got me in the forehead a bunch of times. He actually broke his hand on my forehead. But this is in the way. This blocked a lot of it. So he was trying to find his way in and around and in between. He was trying to get all in there. But he actually kind of helped me out. What's most telling about that is when they counted 3, 2, 1, he got off, took a knee, right? And I was good. He was exhausted. He blew his wad. I rope-a-doped him on the ground. I ground and pound. No, I pound and grounded him.
Nice. Y'all look good out there. Hell yeah.
So about clinching with a guy who's much bigger and theoretically much stronger, there's angles and there's leverage and there's little things you can do to unbalance him and kind of make your life a little easier. But you just have to be stronger and you have to work on it. And you have to practice it. When you break a man's posture, if you can break his posture, it's easier to keep it broken. If he can keep his posture, that's easier than trying to get it back. So really, you have to kind of pull them and break them and move. But you just have to be stronger. Getting ready for that fight, I did a shit ton of deadlifts. I did a bench press. I did big lat pulls, big rows. I wanted to be strong and feel strong so that when I grabbed him, he knew that a grown-ass man had him, or like a very, very large child had a hold of him, you know? So round 2, I knew that he was tired. I knew he was exhausted. It was clear. His hands were super low. He was breathing very heavy. but I hadn't yet hurt him. So we started circling, and he's lumbering around trying to catch me, and I gave him a big old wind-up. Boom! And I knew when that happened, I felt it sink, and I was like, he's going to react favorably to those leg kicks for the rest of the time. And then I circled, and I gave him the old load up. He sees right. Gave him that big old boom. You guys see me use it probably every fight, kind of like a leaping left hook to the body that looks like it's going to get countered. But if you can hurt a person, then the next thing you do, generally, you can get in there for free if you can convince them that you're going to hurt them with the first thing. After that, he had his left hand down so low, I thought for sure I was going to throw this big fastball pitch. He just pulled his head back out of the way, and that was a bad move. My buddy Lorenzo said, box, don't brawl, box, don't brawl. So after that, he started pawing his left hand out at me, and I started giving him, the jabs to the body. That worked out a lot better. I was focusing on single shots that would hurt him. I'd hurt this leg. He actually had switched to southpaw, I think, at one point, and I gave him a little kick there. I gave him a big, this was gross. This was under, a lot of people didn't focus on this kick. I gave him a big push kick and stomped his belly.
Take him down.
I know that shit hurt. I gave him a little weak ass side kick, and he came forward and went to grab. He tried to grab me and clinch me. And when he went to clinch me, I went to our cross collar tie that we've done a lot of videos on. And he grabbed and pushed and pulled and tried to punch me. He tried to throw those rights. But when I'm holding him like this, he can't turn into those punches. And at one point, I tried a couple punches. I got a little bit loose, turned to the outside, and I threw one big, and I let go and cracked him with a good uppercut.
Get on him. Yes, right there. Everything. Go for it. There you go.
And that was sort of the end of that round.
Good shit.
So I want to clear something up because a lot of people got this part wrong. The third round started, and Corey was standing southpaw a lot and trying to circle because he was tired of me stinging him with these shots. But he had this hand up pretty high, and he tried to circle around, and I gave him one of our good little cracking little side kicks.
Okay, that's all right.
And he was like, oh, shit. And then he went to switch. He ended up kind of square, and the next kick was low.
That's nothing. There you go.
A lot of people say that Corey was just tired or he was trying to get, a rest or whatever. A lot of people said that because the angle wasn't good. The angle was this.
That's nothing. There you go.
But I'm going to tell you the truth of what happened. Not only did I low blow him, I Superman low blowed him. So I kicked his balls, and if people question whether or not I kicked his balls, I felt, where are you going? I felt his balls squish even through my Chuck Taylors. I could tell it was nuts, and I could tell it was genitals. I could tell there was male genitals squishing beneath my foot. So it wasn't just a little dunk. It was like push and then except I added a punch like an asshole, so it was like crack. Because what's your reaction when someone goes like this? Boom. That's what happened. So for sure, I'm sorry, Corey. I definitely did hit you in the man bag. And all the guys in the comments saying, oh, he just wanted a break. Nah, dude. Corey wanted to keep fighting.
Good. Yeah. All right. Give him a second. All right.
You got hitting the boys?
I don't know how much of that was, but he was like, no, I'm good. But then he was going, and I was like, I don't want to fight a guy like that. I don't want him at 100%. I want everything he's got. So the round started back, and I know for sure this dude's scared every time I pick my leg up. And this is the shot heard round the internet. It was a Superman punch, but this wasn't even the worst part. This hurt him. And whenever you hurt a man, and he's a grabby type dude, he's going to push forward and try to grab. This is a trap you guys will fall in. If you guys ever in a street fight or self-defense scenario, don't fall into this trap where if you get in here and your initial attempt gets stuffed, right, and they're on top of you, if you get to here, you need to do something different, right? Don't get hung up on this, but he did. He continued to push forward. I snatched him down to here, and we ended up like this. Now everyone remembers what happened next. I was able to circle to here. I put this knee in here. He didn't. What you should do, you should connect your elbows to your knees, right? To make a tighter, so I can't get my knee in there. I was heavy, chest is heavy on him, and I started giving him these punches. Now this was a really interesting part because he caught my hand, right? And he did like a judo throw. Don't go yet. He did like a judo throw and rolled. Now that theoretically, if this was a John Wick movie, like that would be cool. And everyone was like, yes, yes. But all it did, go ahead and do it. All it did was give me his back, right? So I end up with his back. Now my jiu-jitsu is pretty weak, right? And this is where things, it worked out my way, but I did a couple things wrong. He started to roll over and get to his stomach. What you're actually supposed to do, there's a couple things you should do if you're in my position. You ideally like to either have your head lower than their head, like so you can't get shaken, so you can't get shaken off. What I should have done, though, is use my hips to flatten him out, right, like this. Is that funny?
It's interesting to watch.
This is funny, right? This is where I should have been, and then it would have been super easy. But I ended up doing it from this position. I posture up. Luckily, he was big enough that he was able to hold me for these like sweet back extensions here. Okay, we doing this. We need some Instagram content, right? Couples workout, couple fitness goals. Hey. But I postured up. I went 4, 3, 2, and ended up finishing the fight in this position. And then I gave him a little.
Hey, good job, guys. Beautiful fight, man. Two warriors.
Good fight. Good fight.
Couple goals. But that's how that fight went. The decision, for some it was controversial. He definitely won round 1 by a lot. Yeah. I definitely won round 3 by a lot. I guess you could call 2 into question, but go back when you watch that fight, look particularly round 2, count the number of strikes that we land on each other. Whether you count punches or kicks more heavily or not, just count the strikes. I'd be interesting to see in your comments there what you think, but if you want to come back and comment here, I'd love to hear what you think about that second round of that fight, because some people kind of think Corey won that one. I'm Mike. This is not Corey Guns. This is Jay, and this is Hard to Hurt. If you want more fitness tips, self-defense techniques, gear reviews, as well as concepts and principles that make you hard to hurt, make sure you click that subscribe button right there and turn on notifications.
Winner, Icy Mike by decision. Good fight, fellas.
Damn good fight, guys. Damn good fight.